What's going on, guys? Jake Peffer here. Welcome back to Jake's Cinema Room. I am back with another movie review for you. Today I am going to be looking at the latest movie in the Jeepers Creepers franchise titled Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Now, this is the fourth movie in the franchise. This is also the first time that director/writer Victor Salva is not involved in any way, shape, or form, which is a good thing because that guy is a terrible person, and it's good to see that they finally put a stop to him making these movies because he was responsible for the first three. And like I mentioned in my reviews of the previous three films, I do somewhat like those first two. I think the first one's a pretty enjoyable, mid-tier horror movie. The second one is a definite step down, but it's got some redeeming qualities, and it's somewhat entertaining. That third one is pretty terrible. It should have just never been made. And the same can be said for this fourth one, which somehow ends up being worse than the third one and now holds the great honor of being the worst movie in the Jeepers Creepers franchise. This just all around is not good. I'm just going to put it out there. This is a bad movie. This is like lowest of the low bad. There's just nothing redeemable about this, where in that last movie, what was one of the biggest problems was the CGI and the green screen effects. They were all terrible. You had a really terrible storyline too, but not a whole lot of people are coming for that in these movies. But at least you could get some good kills and some good gore maybe, and it might be worthwhile. But that last movie, all of it was just really bad. This time, somehow, I guess they just had a cheaper budget, but the green screen effects and CGI are god awful. They are really bad. They are like cutscene on a Sega Genesis bad. Like, they look atrocious. And to make it worse, the makeup is bad in this movie too. Like, the creeper himself does not look good. In the first three movies, he was played by Jonathan Breck, who I think brought a lot to that character. He is probably the best part of those first three movies. He's a good physical actor, and he, did a good job in them. And I thought the makeup, even going into that third one where it didn't look quite as good, he still had like a good presence and a good look to him throughout that run of those first three movies, where in this one, he's played by a guy named Jerome Benjamin, who I'm not really familiar with. But unfortunately, this guy does not do a very good job at playing the creeper, but it doesn't help that he also has a horrible looking makeup on top of him that just doesn't help him in any way, shape, or form. I understand they're kind of going for a new look for the creeper, but it doesn't come off very well in this one. And thankfully they keep him kind of in the shadows and hidden by a lot of dark scenes, so you don't really see him very clearly throughout the movie. It's definitely for the better, but when you do see him, it's not very good. Now, I did read online that this movie does kind of connect to those original three movies, but what I read is a very convoluted way of them connecting, and please correct me if this was the wrong information that I read, but supposedly those first three movies take place, the actual movies themselves take place in this universe, and they are movies that are reenactments of real-life events that happened in this universe. And then we are basically 23 years after those original events, because in the beginning you can see the creeper crawling out of Ray Wise's character from the second movie. He's coming out of his barn, which is where he was kept at the end of that second movie. But yeah, it's a weird way to connect it to those original movies. I mean, why not just either have it just take place 23 years after those movies, or have it take place on another day in between those 23 days that he's eating and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. It's very convoluted and doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But if that's true, then that's dumb, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah, I mean, this, outside of the green screen and the CGI and all that, it doesn't help that there's no memorable characters in this movie. None of them are redeemable. All of them are terrible, just the main characters included. I guess the plot of this movie, if you even need that, you have a girl named Lane. Her and her boyfriend Chase are going to a horror convention that is in the town where the creeper legend has been around for, I guess the legend is as old as time. Her boyfriend is really into horror movies, and he's really into the lore of the creeper. She's basically just going because he's super into it, but you can tell that she really doesn't want to be there. They end up winning a contest where they get brought to a this like abandoned house, and they basically get pawned off by some witches that live in the town that I guess get people for the creeper to eat and take advantage of, essentially. So yeah, they get locked in this house and have to fend for themselves against the creeper. It's pretty lazy all the way around. I mean, the writing here is absolutely terrible. None of the actors or actresses are doing a very good job in this, and it doesn't help that it's just poorly written, poorly directed, poor all the way around. There's nothing redeemable about this movie at all. It's a low barrier to reach, because this is just, this is a franchise that didn't really need a fourth film. Honestly, it didn't need a third one. It would have been fine with those first two. It could have been fine with the first one, but like I said, that second one's got some decent parts here and there. But this fourth movie just has nothing going on for it at all. There's nothing here that is worthwhile. This is one you absolutely should skip. Unless you are someone that is a completist and you have to see every movie and every series, by all means, go right ahead. Or if you just need to see how bad this movie actually is, go rent it. It's on VOD now. You can rent or buy it because its 3-day theater run is over with now at this point. But yeah, I can't even fathom watching this movie ever again. It is, without a doubt, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is arguably one of the worst movies of 2022. Overall, I would give this, I guess, a 1 out of 10. I got a couple of chuckles here and there from some unintentionally funny parts, or maybe they were supposed to be funny. I honestly couldn't really tell you. But outside of that, there's nothing else redeemable about this movie at all, and you need to avoid it at all costs. Please do so. But if you have had the highest of honors of actually seeing Jeepers Creepers Reborn, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews in the near future. I will leave all my links in the description below on where you can follow me and view more of my reviews. And until next time, guys, I will catch you all later.